I have spent a lifetime observing the natural world, and more recently, the curious rituals of modern celebrity. In 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex stepped away from royal duties, making headlines with a dazzling Netflix deal. The figure, $100 million, echoed everywhere, painted as a golden ticket to a new life in America. The press called it a triumphant new beginning, a modern fairy tale. But as anyone familiar with media contracts knows, the truth is rarely so simple. In nature, no creature receives its winter store in a single day. So too in Hollywood, fortunes are earned, not handed over. These deals are intricate, filled with clauses and performance metrics. The headlines promised a treasure chest, but the reality was far more nuanced. Netflix wasn't just buying content, they were buying access to a global phenomenon. The Sussexes' story was unique, and the world was eager to hear it. Netflix envisioned documentaries, series, even children's programming. The public imagined a new, authentic royal narrative, but that £100 million figure was just a whisper, a hopeful beginning, not the full story. The real test was yet to come. In Hollywood, every promise is provisional. Mega deals like the Sussexes are not blank cheques. The £100 million was a ceiling, not a lump sum, payments tied to delivered projects. Netflix's model is pay for performance. Each milestone unlocks the next tranche of funding. Archerwell Productions had to pitch, develop and deliver content that met Netflix's standards. If a project stalled or was rejected, the funds stayed put. The full sum was only possible if they produced a slate of successful content. Netflix was betting on their potential, not just their names. The deal demanded creativity, hard work, and the ability to navigate Hollywood's tough landscape. Signing the contract was just the start. The real work began after. The Sussexes became producers, not just subjects. The pressure to deliver was immense. The clock started ticking the moment the ink dried. In this world, value is measured in content, not headlines. The world waited to see what Archerwell Productions would deliver. Their first major project, Harry and Meghan, debuted in late 2022, a blockbuster event. The docuseries offered an intimate look at their love story and royal exit, drawing millions of viewers. It dominated headlines and proved the global fascination with the couple. For Netflix, it was a commercial triumph, yet the series was polarizing. Supporters saw truth-telling, critics saw old grievances. The question quickly became, what's next? A brand built on personal conflict has limits. Beyond this flagship, their output was sparse. Harry and Meghan was the main event. It proved they could attract an audience, but not yet that they could be versatile producers. The success cast a long shadow over their future creative efforts. Archerwell's next major project, Heart of Invictus, shifted focus to Prince Harry's passion, the Invictus Games. The series followed wounded veterans, highlighting resilience and hope. It was beautifully produced and deeply inspiring, showing Harry as a patron and fellow veteran. This was the kind of uplifting content many expected from the Sussexes. Yet, despite its quality, Heart of Invictus failed to capture the same audience as their first series. It didn't break into Netflix's top 10, revealing a harsh truth. Star power doesn't guarantee viewership. Audiences drawn to royal drama didn't necessarily follow to cause-driven stories. The series was a critical success, but its muted commercial performance was telling. Even with a famous name, success in streaming is never assured. The challenge of sustaining attention became clear. In Hollywood, many projects never see the light of day. Archerwell's animated series Pearl, announced with fanfare, was meant to inspire young viewers. It promised to diversify their output and build a legacy beyond personal stories. But in 2022, amid Netflix cutbacks, Pearl was cancelled. The loss wasn't about quality. It was a casualty of corporate restructuring. Still, it was a public setback, highlighting the obstacles even high-profile producers face. The cancellation left a gap in their slate and raised questions about their creative range. In Hollywood, every failure is magnified, especially for the Sussexes. The Sussexes' greatest challenge is brand identity. Their initial appeal was as royal insiders breaking free, offering a rare glimpse behind palace walls. Their docuseries and Harry's memoir fed a global appetite for drama, but a brand built on past grievances has a shelf life. Audiences soon ask what's next. Their pivot to inspirational content like Heart of Invictus revealed the limits of their appeal. The controversy drew crowds, the causes less so. Hollywood values versatility, but so far their biggest hits are about themselves. Their ongoing public profile keeps them tethered to old narratives. The boundaries of their brand remain uncertain. The Sussexes' challenges extended beyond Netflix. Their Spotify deal, announced with fanfare, produced just one series, Archetypes. The podcast debuted at #1 and won awards, but no further series followed. In 2023, the partnership ended abruptly, with Spotify citing lack of productivity. A Spotify executive publicly called them grifters, sending shockwaves through the industry. The end of the deal was a blow, reinforcing doubts about their ability to deliver. Archetypes was a success, but the overall partnership was not. The contrast between hype and outcome was stark. The industry began to question if their Netflix deal might face a similar fate. In Hollywood, consistency matters as much as star power. The pressure to prove themselves only grew. Despite setbacks, the Sussexes are recalibrating. Meghan has launched a lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, and is planning a cooking show for Netflix. This marks a shift to safer, aspirational territory, less about royal drama, more about personal style. Harry is reportedly working on a documentary about Africa, focusing on his long-standing passions. These projects aim to diversify their output and prove their range as producers. The challenge: will audiences follow them beyond royal revelations? Hollywood is watching closely. The clock is ticking on their Netflix deal. Their future depends on creating hits that stand apart from their past. The Sussexes' Hollywood journey is a study in fame, content, and commerce. Their story brought them success and criticism in equal measure. Some see them as modern trailblazers, others as having squandered opportunity. The end of the Spotify deal and the cancellation of Pearl fuel both views. Their next steps, lifestyle ventures and new documentaries, are a bid to prove they're more than a one-story phenomenon. Can they build a sustainable media business beyond personal grievance? The final chapter is unwritten. It could be a tale of reinvention or a cautionary story about the limits of celebrity. The world is watching to see if they can finally deliver on the hype.